Alrighty, fellas, I think it's about that time. Good evening. I was gonna say morning, but good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to day 2 of the Halloween event in PokeMMO. I'm going live much later for this one, but I like to spend in the morning just kind of grinding. This event has been keeping me busy, as I'm sure you guys feel the exact same way. There is so much going on, so much to learn, so much to talk about with other players, so much to get to, and I'm trying to concise it for you guys, break it down. But first things first, we have our daily news, tips, tricks, information, and our stream recap. Let's jump into it. We do have 2 catch events coming up. Don't let the event distract you from the upcoming 2 catch events with one of the creepiest arts I've ever seen, one of the craziest intros for catch events I've ever seen in PokeMMO history. We have ourselves a Mr. Mime catch event with a really good shiny prize. Keep an eye out for this one. This is on the 8th of November, Saturday, the 8th of November, this weekend, right? This upcoming next weekend. It'll be like Monday as you're seeing this. 8th Saturday, November, 1 p.m. ET at Route 210 Sinnoh. You're gonna have 1 hour to catch Mr. Mime, Scyther, Sudowoodo, and Breloom, and then have a +5 naughty nature bonuses. You could win yourself a shiny Mime Junior. That's a pretty darn rare shiny, a very difficult single encounter hunt, a very, very difficult shiny at all to get. And then next up, we also have this. A really cool art. Once again, cool arts for both of these, honestly. Clefairy Gengar catch event on the 9th of November, Sunday. That is at 3 p.m. ET, Mount Moon in Kanto. You have 1 hour to catch Clefairy, Sandshrew, Geodude, and Zubat, with nature bonuses being +3 for Calm and +2 for Modest. And there is a shiny Cleffa. Some baby shinies, shiny Cleffa up for grabs as well. So big 2 catch events coming up both this weekend, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Next up, we got to talk about the Crtl+A nerf, considered a bug. I think there's a few updates. I don't want to overshadow how good this update is, at least in my personal opinion. Everybody's got their own opinion, you know. I love this update. I love this event. I'm having so much fun playing it, dude. Grinding it all. I'm having a blast. That doesn't mean there aren't problems that need to be talked about and addressed to a responsible manner. Talked about, addressed, talk about change, hopefully advocating for positive change, but then also moving on and having our own fun. You can't worry about solving everything, but also things need to be addressed to get better and better and better in life. For those who don't know, prior to this update, you used to be able to hit Control+A, your A key, which mine is Z. So if I say Control+Z, it just means Control+A. You used to be able to hit Control+A, and that would allow you to spam through the battle menu. This was really good for gym reruns, really good for trainer reruns, especially when you're clicking the same button over and over again. And it also mattered for speed runs of like gym reruns and speed runs of pretty much anything in PokeMMO. If you're speed running, you want to be clicking as fast as possible. And this really matters for a lot of things, for consistency, for competitive integrity, for also disabilities or tendonitis or carpal tunnel, and that's what gets brought up here. And we're going to read through what FlyHappy posted. The Crtl+A situation. Hello everyone, I want to have a conversation about the removal of the possibility of using Crtl+A when in a battle. I feel like this decision impacts the game more negatively than positively. I'd like to have a peaceful discussion about how we can, understand why this decision was made. I'm hoping that it just gets reverted. I think everybody is kind of like, why? I don't think it was a nerf that was required. Similar to the E4, at least the E4 nerf thing, it was like, okay, they wanted to get rid of cheesy strats. Whether that's, you agree with that or not, I understand. This was kind of like a why. Like, make it less OP, but it really wasn't that OP. It just sped you through the battle a little bit faster, and it was also fair. It was everybody had access to it. I had no problems with Crtl+A personally. Let's read what Flabby says. Let's read what he says. For currently, I have 3 speculations on why it was made. Which this is what you want to do. You want to empathize. You want to understand, where the devs are coming from, so then you can accurately counter argue it. Number 1, the devs don't think Jimmy runs as of now are an engaging piece of activity, which is so fair. Normally in Jimmy runs, you most of the time can just hold down the A button, everything will be fine. I can agree that this is not the most engaging PvE activity, but even though personally I like it, this is also just not even true though. It depends on what Jimmy run you're doing. There are more active, more engaging Jimmy runs that make more Pokeyen, but most people just do the chill. I like the chill one. It just depends on what kind of person you are. My counter argument is that mashing the A button repeatedly would likely not make it more engaging. I super agree. I don't think there's any value in just mashing the A or Z key as fast as possible I don't find value in that personally. The devs want to reduce the money per hour. I don't think it's going to change things that much. Like I don't think it'll even knock off a single gym. I'm gonna pay whatever. Yeah, I don't think it really changes too much speed-wise. The speed-wise is very similar. It's just more obnoxious, and it hurts people with carpal tunnel problems. The devs want to stop multi-gyms. This is probably one of the better arguments. With this change, multiple gym runs become too intense for some people. This is actually fair, but I like this argument the best, the most charitable argument towards the devs. But Fly Happy says, why am I doing this post? I have acute tendonitis in both my hands. The problem has come up multiple times. It makes me at least have physiotherapy at least once a year. With this change, I will never be able to do Jimmy runs outside of the event season. I think it's a little extreme, but like it'll be, well, no, if it's a physical thing for him, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's tough. I think your Jimmy runs become much less efficient. You have to sit there and wait until and click it once, maybe. I drastically encourage the devs when you do this for him. I think that personally, I think with the tendonitis stuff and the carpal tunnel, I think it's a pretty clear, like, we probably should just allow Control-Z. Like, it makes it a lot easier, and it's not really broken for anything, in my personal opinion. Even disregarding that, it's not even if we disregard the obvious argument, it's not engaging or fun or good content to spam through. Like, imagine all the Jimmy run speed runs just become like spamming it as soon as possible to get the fastest input. That's not fun for speed running. Like, that's not fun for, like, disregarding the obvious health argumentation. Even you don't even have to use the easy arguments, right? Even with just like the balancing of speed runs and the balancing of, if you want to be efficient, the strategy being just spamming it as quick as possible. Nobody wants that. That's not fun. It's not interesting. It's not engaging. It's just obnoxious, is my personal opinion. So hopefully, I don't want to, this one negative, there's like 1 or 2 negative updates in a patch full of amazing updates, in my opinion. I hope this is just reverted. They take it away, they change it back. That's my personal opinion. Next up, I like covering posts like this. This is a very earnest, kind, sweet player. Puffing Bear. I have not participated in an event since 2021, and you know what? I like to give the devs and mods a bit of grief. I think that's really based to just own up to that and respect that. But this event sure is a W appreciation. If you are I think critique is super important. If you're going to critique the devs a lot, I hope you also praise them a lot. I think that's my kind of my strategy. If you watch my content, not everybody knows this if you don't watch my content, but if you watch my streams and stuff, I critique the devs a ton, but I also praise them a ton. I think having that balance is really important. Sometimes people will clip one or the other. If you only watch a small part of my content, you may only see me praise the devs and think I simp the devs. And if you only watch me critique, you may think I, am a hard ass who only cares about the hardcore player base. But if you watch my content as a whole, I personally, and you could correct me, I personally feel like I aim to do a good job of critiquing the devs, but also praising them and giving both fairness there. It's that balance, right? So I think this is super based of a person to be like, you know what, I usually give you grief, but I'm really making those positive posts as well. And I thought this post was just a little humorous. This is a newer, and like, this person's not wrong for this by any means. I actually think people were a little too mean to him. It's a little funny of a post, but I get what he's coming from. Turn Halloween event off? ? Is there a way to turn off the event? I just started playing yesterday, and I was having a lot of fun having nostalgia and reliving Pokemon, but now everything looks different. Dude, as a super casual new player, I can totally understand how you'd be like, what the heck, I was just trying to play through Fire Red and now all these pumpkins are around. I get it. Should you probably just turn off the game for 2 weeks and come back? But I get it, right? I get how that can happen. I thought it was a funny post. I thought that, there's pretty easy empathy to understand that player's plight, how minimal it may be, right? Other than that, welcome back to another day in the Halloween event. There's so much to do. Raids are now active. That's a big piece of news. You can go do all of the raids now. I have not gotten to them quite yet, but they are now active. They were either bugged or there was some sort of problem early on where you could not access them. Galvantula, Bayonet, and Hypno are now the active raids. I'm sure there'll be one coming up in a few more hours, or in a few more tens of hours. Every like 24 hours or so, they drop a new one. I think it's like 16 hours or something like that. Exactly. And welcome to the stream recap for the Halloween event. If we have any more information, any other good questions from chat, any new developments as the Halloween event comes along, I will see you guys with tons of clips. Thanks for watching. Like if you enjoy, subscribe. Let's jump into playing some PokeMMO. It's been a really fun event season for me personally. Let's get to it. Oh, excuse me. I did want to actually go ahead and do a quick market check. This is in the middle of day 2, maybe even mid to late day 2. So keep that in mind as we do our little market check. Spooky candies are down to 21,000 Pokeyen. Special candies very much down to 47k, still a pretty healthy price, and this is as expected. I think a lot of, if it's your first event or second event, you may be a little like, whoa, everything's dropping so fast. This is pretty expected. And I also try to tell people, Now, the unexpected things to some extent are goodie bags holding their value up to 12K or so. That's abnormal. And it's because farming goodie bags is not very good profit right now because of the cost of special candy. On top of, right now, ultra rares can be pulled from goodie bags. So those two factors are keeping goodie bag prices actually pretty darn healthy in my personal opinion. And then next up, the big one a lot of endgame players are talking about is pumpkin goodie bags. This is the cheapest we have seen pumpkin goodie bags ever be in the history of PokeMMO, I believe, from my understanding. Now, that sounds dramatic, and it is true, and it is kind of dramatic to some degree, but I also want to tell people, with more, I tell people every single year, with more education and more information spreading and more players, this is to be expected. Sealed product used to keep its price a lot more in the early days of events because people used to gamble way more. They didn't think of it as gambling. People used to just play the event and open their product and not min-max, Pokeyen. They didn't, not even beyond that, way less people used to do the pumpkin hard mode. Like, as education spreads, as more people have pumpkin hard mode teams, as more people understand to sell your stuff off in the first half of the event and then buy investments in the second half, the market is going to reflect that. Investments, I've said before, I've said it a million times, investments are going to get worse and worse as profit. I think they're still insanely good profit, but I think as education spreads, and like this year, I think a good thing to bring up is I'm seeing this year people with, and it's I'm not trying to like, no dissing towards them. They're putting in the effort and they deserve it. But I'm seeing people with like 4 accounts, like Mist, 4 accounts grinding the pumpkin hard mode, and I'm seeing a lot of people, grinding the pumpkin hard mode on like 4 accounts and then being like, why are pumpkin goodie bags so cheap? and it's because people are getting better at the game, smarter at the game, and you have 4 accounts. Like, people have multiple accounts now where they're grinding them and selling them as like you're doing it, which is totally okay. I don't mean to like be too disrespectful, but I think it's just an interesting, this is as expected. Now, could anybody have guessed they would drop this low to 24K? I don't know. I don't think it's no one's a bad guy. Nobody, like, if you're working hard and grinding the event, I don't think you're a bad guy. Yeah, a lot of hardcore players are talking about the idea of the strategy changing and adapting, which I think is a good thing. I will say the problem is, if they change the hard mode strat, so many players are going to complain that their team they built no longer works. However, I think it's for the better of the game. I could be wrong. I'd be open to that discussion. And to think about it more personally, I'm open to them rebalancing the hard mode. I don't know if they need to make the hard mode harder, but more so just rebalance it to where people can farm it and shake things up a bit, right? There's a lot of things that to be fixed there, right? I think there's a lot of interesting discussion. Market is doomed. No, it's not doomed. You're just a doomsayer. Like, it's funny. Like, I do respect the doomsayers are getting more obvious. The doomsayers are literally using the word doom, which is really funny. You know what? I appreciate your transparency. But anyways, to TLDR it, pumpkin goodie bags are down to 25K. Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think the strategy should change mid-event. It's more of a next year thing. I totally agree with that. I think next year it's a good idea to look at adjusting the pumpkin strategy. That will require a lot of people to build new Pokemon and build new teams, which is going to frustrate a lot of people, but it's also better for the economy and better for the game and better for people to have to adjust. That's just how any MMO and things should adapt and adjust, right? Next up, okay, that's pumpkin goodie bags. We did special candies, spooky candy. I want to check. We did goodie bags. Mysterious dust balls is a big one, a big thing that new players are farming and selling for profit. Mysterious dust balls still holding a 50K Pokeyen value. That's awesome to see. That means that every single swarm Pokemon that you catch is worth at least 10K. That's the math you can think about. If you catch 5 swarm Pokemon, you can turn those in for 1 mysterious dust ball. That's 10K Pokeyen per Pokemon. That's really, really good. When it comes to making catching for profit, good again, or like, catching for profit during the event season via catching swarms is the strategy, man. Being able to catch, go quick ball hoots, and those hoots effectively being 10K a piece minimum is amazing. You can also turn them in 4 for 1 mysterious ball if you have the right Pokemon. So if you take 50K divided by 4, that makes each of those mons worth 12,500 a piece. That's really good. Being able to quick ball a hoot and then subtracting the quick ball cost and it's still being worth 11K, Swarm farming is very good right now, is the TLDR. Swarm farming is very, very, very powerful. Having said that, I'm going to go catch these Scorpies right now. Let's jump into it. Okay, this is a great quick question to explain. So a lot of new players are like, I can't believe how fast things are dropping. And that's totally fair if you're new. Let me explain it's just basic supply and demand. But it's easy to not think about when you're playing a video game, right? The reason why everything drops very quickly at the start of the event is because there is a demand. People do want to buy goodie bags or buy pumpkin goodie bags and gamble, or, you know, do certain things or have the new stuff fast. There is a little bit of demand, but there's not a whole lot of demand. There's also very little supply. At the start of the event, you know, and there's the first 24 hours, only so many mysterious Dusk balls have come into the game, right? Only so many goodie bags, only so many. So the longer the event goes on, there's just more supply, more people farming, more people, you know, it's really, really basic supply and demand, right? So like as the event goes on, we expect prices to drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. And then once the demand picks back up, aka when people start making their investments, which is usually about 7 to 10 days into the event, prices will usually go back up a little bit. And then so I have a video. If you look up Event Economics 101 PokeMMO, I actually have a really good video on this that the algorithm does not tend to like. But it covers how at the start of every event, here's your graph, okay? The start of every event, it goes just straight down for like the first 10 days, 7 to 10 days. And then after the first 7 to 10 days, it kind of goes like this. So it's down here, it goes, okay, up a little bit. And then you're at a crossroads. And then this is where with 3 days, 3 to 5 days, maybe 3 days left in the event, some items are going to go like this and some are going to go like this. And that's where the hard part comes in, is guesstimating which items are going to spike at the end due to like how the quantity, due to how many are available on the market, and how to be. It's just supply and demand. It's all supply and demand. Really basic. I think we learned supply and demand in like kindergarten in the US, unironically. That was the one point of education where we had some good stuff on, okay? Not always in the US, but we got some good knowledge there. At least for me personally. So yeah, guesstimating what item is going to go up or down at the very end, and then long term based on the quantity, aka the supply, like how much is available of that item, and then the demand, how many people want that item, what is it needed for, is it a pragmatic item, is it a really cool vanity? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Great question, and hopefully that things up for some new players. It's always, events are just so overwhelming for new players, it's easy to forget really simple stuff like that. How are you supposed to keep track of all of it? Okay, I think we're getting proper enough confirmation. Enough people in chat seem to agree. I've had the same experience because I have a lot of Dusk balls now on my Iron Man account, but I still don't have the Froggy. And I made the major mistake. I think that you have to, yeah, it doesn't count for the frog. I wasted 2 boxes. I'm so sorry. You have to turn Swarm Pokemon into the kids to get the Froggy, to get to the Froggy vanity. The big vanity that everybody wants, the Froggy. Like kind of unironically, but it's kind of a meme. Thank you for the sub so much, dude. But so yeah, you do have to turn into the kids. If you turn into the teacher, where you can turn in any Swarm Pokemon, you do not get progress towards the Froggy. I'm pretty sure. So that's been the really hard part. I ended up just I tried to shortcut my way to the Froggy, and I got punished for it. We're talking about like investing and stuff like that, and investing in events, and I'm a big fan of investing in sealed product and investing in mysterious balls. Personally, I've had really good success historically with that, but you never know. Investing is always a risk. Do not invest in something and then be mad when you don't make money or lose money. Or like, you have to take your own risk. You have to decide on your own what's best to invest in. Please do not ask me, hey, what do you think is the best thing to invest in, Pat? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know. I can give you my conjecture, my thoughts, my opinions, but at the end of it, I'm just a guy. Nobody knows how any market's going to work 100%. And if they are that confident, I would be very, very skeptical of that person. I love mysterious balls. I've made a lot of money investing in mysterious balls. Nobody, in my opinion, should be, I think it's my opinion, right? Nobody should be investing right now. It's way too early in the event. There's not enough supply. We're not at peak supply. We're not at bottom out prices. You want to invest when things are at their bottom out price, when the most people have played the event, they've had their fun, all the supply is in the market, and now you start eating it up, right? I typically recommend not investing in anything until the first like 7 days have passed, 7 to 10 days. And then you want all of your investments done like 3 to 5 days before the event ends. Because then towards the end, you see a panic of people trying to buy everything they need and buy all their investments, and they overpay for stuff. Don't be part of the panic. So you want to be ahead of the curve, but not too early, but not in the panic. And that's the hard part. Where is the right point. How many nobody knows. That's where, and I wanted to talk about how it's so important to time, like when you invest. Imagine you buy mysterious dust balls right now at 60k a piece, right? Let's get our calculator up. Okay, let's say you buy them right now at 60k a piece, right? Well, let's say they drop to 40k a piece, which is very, I would say, decently likely, right? They drop to 40k a piece, okay? If you invest in them at 40k a piece, and then in 2 months, they go back up to 60k, you've now made 50% ROI, right? Because you've made 20k Pokeyen on each mysterious dust ball that you have. If they go down to 40k and back up to 60k, you've made 20k on each one, right? So if you invest, if you buy 100 mysterious dust balls for 40k a piece, right? That's 4 mil cost, right? Let's say now 2 months down the road, they could become 60k, right? Well, now you just made 2 mil profit, right? You made 50%, which is really good. 50% ROI is really, 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 really good, right? But if you bought them at 60k and then they go down to 40k and then back up to 60k, you've made nothing. You've lost on listing fees. Timing is so important. Do not buy too early. Do not buy too late. And that's the hard part, is when do you buy? When do you buy? Nobody knows. You have to make that decision. You have to watch the market. You have to be educated. You have to take a guess. Nobody knows. It is personal. It's everybody's trying to time it. And when everybody's trying to time it, only some people are going to do it right. And you have to just take the best guess you can. Does that make sense? Why do players invest near the end of the event? It's usually panic. So what happens a lot towards the end of the event is you're like, oh my god, the event's gonna end. That means this is my last time to ever get this vanity or ever get this dust ball or ever get blah blah blah. But that's not true. All the supply is there. Everything's gonna stay in the game. But it's that FOMO, that panic, right? So what happens is, well, they're like, I really want the Froggy vanity, you know, like I really want that. I'm gonna make sure I buy it before the end of the event. And then the Froggy goes up, let's say, towards the end of the event, and then people realize a month later, I don't need this Froggy. It's just a vanity. I can always buy it back later, whatever. Everybody sells their Froggies. Now Froggies go down in like the FOMO panic happens at the end of the event, and then 2 to 6 weeks after the event is over, that's where you really start to see the trends of seeing how an item will actually perform long term. Some items 2 to 6 weeks after the event will start to go down, and some will start to go up. And that's how you know when you start to see when you made a good investment is which one happens, right? Everything is dipping right now. Everything is dipping right now, and like kind of up it, like the prices right now of literally don't mean anything. We are less than 48 hours into the event. Yep, still less than 48 hours currently. The prices of things right now they don't mean anything, unironically, in my opinion. They're timing, they're like little leaves in the wind, you know? They're all over the place. We don't really know until enough people have played the event, enough people have been active enough to buy things. And there are a ton of PokeMMO players who don't even know that there's a Halloween event right now. We're less than 48 hours, you know, and they may find out from their friends, and then we get more people returning. So there's still so much event to play out, right? There's still so much time. Don't stress. Don't panic. One of the worst things you can do during an event or with any economy is panic buy or panic sell. Take your time. That's why I recommend saving up Pokeyen prior to an event and then making a plan. I'm gonna buy on these days and stop on, make a plan and stick to it. Adjust if you need to, but try to adjust as little as possible. Great question from chat. I know this outfit is literally just mostly new stuff put together from the event. It's not really like that. It feels mean to say not crit, but it looks amazing. This is sick. The layering of... I actually feel like the villain mask might be one of the better vanities they've added in a long time. Because it's on like the eye slot, or it's on a good slot. It's either eye or face. I mean, it must be eye. Because this person has an eye slot, a face slot, and a hat slot. Yeah. Dude, you can layer vanities with the villain mask so much more. That's crazy, man. That's really cool. And alrighty, fellas, I know that is going to be a much shorter stream than usual, especially during event season, but it was an extra Sunday stream. Hope you guys can understand. I appreciate you guys watching. I had a lot of fun. We completed a big grind on the Iron Man account, which I'm very, 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 very happy about. thank you guys for watching. I will see you later. I'll see you tomorrow on Monday, okay, at 12 p.m. ET. Stream should go back to normal. Monday at 12 p.m. ET. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not, that's okay. Subscribe for daily Pokemon videos. I do upload every single day at least, and tons of videos during the event. You can follow me on Twitch for streams like this Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. And I like to stream as much as possible during the event, but I also want to take some time to myself and relax and have my alone time, right? Discord down below. If you guys want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, PayPal, and Venmo donations really motivate me and allow me to do stuff like this during the events. We have tons more to do, and I'm excited to get to it. That's like the best feeling, you know? Like, I'm happy. I'm enjoying the event. It's fun. I'm excited. I'm just taking it day by day and step by step. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying it as well. I will see you guys later. Have a good one. But for now, peace, Areno, fellas. Yo, what's up? Patrouski here, and I wanted to take this time to say thank you to everyone who goes above and beyond and supports my channel. Your names are all listed here. You make it possible for me to make helpful and mildly entertaining content for the game that I love and make it available for free for everyone to enjoy. Thank you so much for allowing me to even be here.